Hi there, welcome to Open House. Thank you for joining today. So this is our international team. So we actually have a dedicated team of international recruiters who are here to help you from whatever region that you're in the world. We're definitely here to help you and support you coming to the University of Calgary. So just to briefly go over, we have Maida, who is our coordinator for international recruitment. We have myself, and I support students who are in India and the USA. We have Cynthia, who supports students in Africa. We have Michaela, who supports students in Southeast Asia and the Middle East. We have Carly, who supports students in Asia and Europe. And we have Yana, who supports students in Latin America. So you can email us, you can book a meeting with us, you can WhatsApp us. We're definitely always here to support you on this team. And if you're in this presentation, then I'm sure you're interested in studying in Canada in general. Whatever institution you pick in Canada, it's going to be wonderful. Living in Canada is amazing. Our quality of life is ranked #1 in the world. And I know if you've heard anything about Canadians, you've heard that we are very friendly. And this is true. We're always so polite and friendly. And Canada in general is just very safe and stable. You definitely won't be alone coming to the University of Calgary because we have over 500,000 international students. And this was just in 2020 and our numbers are growing. So you will absolutely meet so many other international friends as well as Canadian friends when you come here. We have over 500,000 international students who have studied in Canada in 2020, and this number is growing. So this is great. You definitely will not be alone as an international student at the University of Calgary. I think one of the best parts about studying in Canada is that full-time students on a valid study permit can work up to 20 hours a week on campus or off campus. So this is a perfect way to fund your degree, and things are all affordable in Canada. So you definitely won't have a challenge, funding your degree here. As well, when we're kind of comparing to the United States, I like to compare specifically there because a lot of students are looking at North America for studying. We have such an amazing program at our schools for co-ops and internships. So they're way more competitive in the United States, and you really don't have as many offerings for co-ops and internships, but there's plenty in Canada. So again, this is great to fund your degree, and I'll talk about them more shortly. And the province of Alberta is where the University of Calgary is located. So to kind of give you some geography, Alberta is a Western province. And so a lot of people, I think, when they think of Canada, they think it's just cold, it's just snowy, and we definitely do have that in Alberta, but we're lucky to have all 4 seasons in Alberta. So you can see in this picture of the mountains, it's gorgeous, there's snow, so there's lots to do when it's winter. You can go skiing, snowboarding, maybe some of you have tried this, maybe you haven't. You can go hiking in the mountains, it's just beautiful. We're home to 5 national parks in Alberta, and there's 6 major ski resorts within 2 hours of campus. So if you're into the outdoor sports, especially in winter, then you're going to love it here. But don't worry, even if you're not into the winter sports, I'm not either. There's lots to do in Alberta all year round. So in the summer when it's hot, you can take advantage of the hiking or just going sightseeing in places like Banff. You can go to Lethbridge to see the coulees. You can go to Drumheller, see Dinosaur Provincial Park. So there's really endless things that you can do in Alberta. I think the best part of Alberta, though, is that we don't have a provincial sales tax. So what this sales tax is in pretty much all of the other provinces. You pay more when you go to the shopping mall. So if you're going to buy a sweater, you're going to buy an iPhone, it's just going to be a little more expensive everywhere else. So it's really affordable in Alberta. And the University of Calgary is in the city of Calgary. Our quality of life is ranked 5th in the world. I've grown up here and I can speak to that. I've grown up here my entire life and I don't plan to leave because I just love Calgary so much. And it's the 5th most livable city due to many reasons. We have the 2nd lowest cost of living in Canada and 9th in North America. And so I personally love the affordability here. Whether you're living on campus in residence or you're moving out later on, you're just going to find that rent and cost of living is so affordable. As well, the entertainment is wonderful in Calgary. So Calgary is home to 9 of Canada's top 100 restaurants. And that's one of my favorite things to do is to go out to eat. So you can find all your cuisines from whatever country or city you're from. I guarantee you'll be able to find your restaurant and your type of food here. As well, for the people who are adventurous, I said in Alberta, the weather's beautiful and we like to be outdoors. In Calgary, that's true as well because we're Canada's sunniest major city. So we have over 330 days of sun per year. So even in the winter, you're still wearing sunglasses and it's beautiful because it's just bright all year round. And I think that's a really good opportunity for mental health. And we just love to be outdoors. So we're outdoors year round. Looking at the employment side, I know a lot of students, especially international students, are looking at the STEM, the business, things like that. And Calgary is so good for employment for these areas because we have the highest concentration of high-tech workers in Canada. We're also number 2 in Canada for the most small businesses. So Calgary really is just such a young, vibrant city. So whether you're studying here, living here, working here, you're going to find lots of opportunity in this city. And this is the University of Calgary main campus. So it's a big campus. You know, when I talk about Calgary, it's a large it's a large city in Canada. And I think a large city is great because there's so many amenities. You know, whether it's concerts coming here, different events, you're always going to find something to do in the city. And I think of the same thing when I think of campus. So there's always things going on. Our student life is vibrant and it's a big campus. So there's lots of amenities for students. You can see our Olympic Oval. It's in the top right. This is where we have the fastest speed skating ice in the world. We broke the most records at the 1988 Olympics here when the Olympics were hosted in Calgary, and we continue to break records here. So that's amazing. And students can skate on this ice for a very affordable fee. So that's exciting to take a study break. You know, you can't be studying all the time or watching Netflix all the time. So again, we love to be active here. And then there's the Taylor Family Digital Library. This is in the top, maybe left of the screen for you. And you can see it's this beautiful library. It's one of the most technically advanced libraries in North America. So if you're studying, you're working on your research projects, you're writing a paper, you're going to have all the resources you need on campus. Fun fact, again, to take a study break, we have the largest collection of video games in North America in this library. So again, just a little fun fact for when you're not studying. So it's a big campus, like I've been saying, but don't let that scare you because all students have access to what's called a UPass. And this UPass, it's included in your fees. And so you can get around campus on the bus if you'd like. You don't even have to walk between all your classes. And it's just 5 short stops to get downtown on the train. So it's really accessible to get everywhere in the city with this. The last thing that I notice about this photo is that, again, there's just so much green space because we love to be outside in Calgary. So you'll find that students are always tossing a ball around outside, eating their lunch outside. Yeah, so it's just a beautiful park-like campus, which mirrors the rest of our city. And of course, you're an international student. And I know as an international student, you want to make sure that you find a community on campus. And I think one of the best ways to do that is by joining a club. So we have over 300 student clubs on campus, and we have so many different cultural clubs. So whatever country you're coming from, you know, whatever background or religion, there's probably going to be a club that has, you know, a community that you can feel at home in. So, you know, there's an Indian Students Association for any students who are in India. There's different clubs for students who are in Asia or in Europe. There's just so many different clubs. And so you're really going to find something that you enjoy. We have clubs for, you know, activities, music, sports. But if we don't have a club for your specific activity, you can actually get yourself plus 9 friends and you can start your own club. So you can go to the Students' Union, you can get funding, and you can start your very own club for your very own interest and hobby. So that's really exciting. And so, like I've been saying, getting active is extremely important at the University of Calgary. Our activity on the campus, you know, you could expect to have many of the classic things that you could expect on a large campus. So we have our aquatic center, fitness center, gymnastics, Olympic Oval, and so many things that, you know, make it easy to be active on campus. I want to highlight, I think, what's most unique about our campus for being active, and that is definitely our outdoor center. So the outdoor center is the largest of its kind in North America. And basically how I like to think of the outdoor center is whatever sport that you have back home or whatever sport you've tried or whatever sport you haven't tried, you can likely find the gear. So maybe you're playing cricket or you're playing soccer and you need anything just like cleats or the bats, or you're going kayaking and of course you might not have a kayak with you, or you're going floating down our Bow River, which is an activity that we love in Calgary. We love to do that in the summer, get some friends together and float the river. You can get all of the gear at the Outdoor Center for a very affordable fee. So it really is exciting to try something new at the University of Calgary, especially when it's to do with activity. We have lots of different options for playing a sport casually. So whether you're joining, just a fitness class or an intramural sport team, but we have lots of options as well if you want to be competitive. So playing sports at the competitive level. We're home of the DINOS. And so whatever student, if you are an athlete or you're just a regular student or staff, we're all the DINOS. For varsity sports, we have a lot. It's basketball, cross country, field hockey, football, rugby, and more. And so there's likely going to be a sport that if you do play competitively, you'll be able to find one for you. If you do want to play sports at the competitive level, my best recommendation is to go to the website, godinos.com. So this website, you can go there, you can find your sport of choice, and then you can reach out to the coaches. So it's super simple. You can reach out and state your interest, say maybe what position you're playing in, how long you've been playing, and maybe they'll have you come down for an audition, or they'll have you, send a video, things like that. But the best thing to do is to reach out early. It's fun to be an athlete, but I wasn't an athlete in university and I found it just as fun. So we have big kickoff events. So you can go to games like our Crowchild Classic, which is the hockey game between our school and the other university in the city, and you can verse each other. And even if you just show up to these games, you can be entered to win free tuition. So that's really exciting. It pays even just to cheer on your fellow DINOS. And now I'm going to get into study abroad. So you're an international student, and the move to Canada might be a few hours of a flight, or it might be 12 hours or more. And so it's a big move. Hopefully, if you're interested in coming to Canada, then you're interested in traveling in general. And I hope you are, because it's so easy and it's so wonderful to study abroad with the University of Calgary. You can study, work, or volunteer abroad, and we have study abroad opportunities in more than 45 countries. I think the best part about doing a study abroad opportunity with the University of Calgary is that you can pay UCalgary tuition and fees when you study abroad. So you could be paying the exact same fees to be studying in the library or in your dorm room, or you could be studying in a cafe in Paris or, in Peru. So it's definitely an exciting opportunity. I know a lot of students think you need to take a gap year or you need to wait until after university to go traveling, but you definitely can do it within your degree, and I highly recommend it. The University of Calgary aims to have about 50% of students take part in an international experience. And so there's really opportunity for everyone if they would like to take part in this. You can take a course, you can take a semester. We've had students, I had a colleague, she was in the commerce degree, so she took a business degree and she went to Japan with study abroad. So there's lots of exciting ways to study abroad with the University of Calgary. And now we're going to get into work integrated learning at the University of Calgary. I think a lot of international students, when they think of work integrated learning, the first thing that they think of and what they focus on is co-ops and internships. And so if you don't know what a co-op or an internship is, these are going to be paid work terms, and these paid work terms are stacked on top of your degree. So maybe you're taking a 4-year commerce degree in our Haskins School of Business, and it's a 4-year degree. We have all 4-year degrees. And if you take a year of a co-op, now your degree is going to be extended to 5 years. So however long you take of a co-op or an internship, whether it's 6 months or even up to 18 months in an internship, you can add that on to your degree. The highlight though is that they're all paid. There's actually so many highlights to co-ops and internships. You get to really see if your degree is right for you because you're working it out in the field and getting that hands-on learning. You get to build your resume within your degree. You get connections with employers, and you're so hireable. The University of Calgary has a 95% rate of students who get a job within 1 year of graduating from the University of Calgary, and co-ops and internships definitely help this. Co-ops and internships are extremely plentiful in Canada, but they're definitely at the University of Calgary not the only way to get work integrated learning. So whether you're doing a practicum in nursing, education, or kinesiology, or you're doing paid research, clinical, or field experiences. So maybe you're in archaeology and you're going to go to a field school in the prairies in Alberta. There's just so many different ways to get this work integrated learning in your degree. For our co-ops and internships, we have really exciting placements. These include students have worked at Amazon, Suncor, Garmin, and so many more exciting places. So this is a great opportunity, I think, especially for international students. And now we're going to get into supports. And with support, I just want to remind you that there's support in the chat. So we have Gary from admissions and Yana, who is another recruitment advisor. So if you do have any questions, they can support you in the chat. So please feel free to ask them at any time. But yeah, student supports at the University of Calgary, I think, are so important, but especially important for international students. So again, it's a big move, and you might not be knowing too many other people coming to the University of Calgary, but we have lots of international students here. We're getting close to having 15% international students at the University of Calgary, so you definitely won't be alone when you're here. And again, we want to make campus feel like home for you, and so we have so many supports. We, of course, have academic support with our Student Success Center. So we have writing support, academic advising, maybe you have test anxiety, they can help you out with that. They have study sessions, so everything to make sure that your academics are strong. You have our student wellness services. So we have a doctor on campus. If you get sick, you don't even have to leave. We have counseling, a dietitian, and of course we have a financial aid office. So I know a lot of international students are concerned about funding. And so this is really important that they are there to help you, even for things that students might not think about. So when you come to campus, you've already secured your tuition, they help you budget along the way. So all 4 years, you can make sure that everything's really affordable. I think though, our best resource for international students is going to be our international student services. So they help you with everything. They'll help you with everything to do with your study permit. So once you've gotten, your offer to the University of Calgary and you're applying for your study permit, they can help you walk through that because we have trained immigration advisors, and they'll help you for free, and they'll go through everything with you. They can even help you, with booking your flight and making your way to the University of Calgary. And even more than that, they really want to make sure that Calgary is a home for you. So they have a specific international student orientation, so you get to know campus really well. And then they take you around on sightseeing tours. So you can go to Banff with them. You can go around the city with them and just get to know, your new city. So that's really exciting. When you're doing your co-op and your internship and you eventually need a work permit, they'll help you with that. So they really want to make sure that you're successful as an international student throughout all 4 years of your degree or more. And now I'm going to get into living on campus. I lived on campus for 3 years, and it was definitely the best decision I made of my university career because I met basically all of my best friends in first-year university residence, and I'm still friends with them today. And I think it's the best way to build a community on campus. I highly recommend that whatever institution you choose, you think about living on campus. I mean, it's just easy to get to know the city, and then you're close to your classes and labs. And especially if you consider getting a job on campus, it's just nice to be close to everything. Our residence rooms are phenomenal. We have the second largest dorm rooms in North America, and we also have great options for rooms. So you can do a classic double room. So that's 2 students, 1 room, or you can do a single room if you want more space to yourself. But if you do choose roommates or a roommate, we have a wonderful roommate matching service. So they take everything from your living habits, where if you want to go to bed early, you stay up late, you go to bed late, you like it to be messy, you like it to be clean, and they'll input all of that. And a lot of other universities use a computer service to match up students with other students. But the perk about UCalgary is that we make sure that we have someone live to match you with a good roommate, and hopefully more than that, they're a good friend. So there's opportunity to make so many close friends in residence. And there's lots of options. International students, if you have any dietary restrictions like vegetarian or halal, they'll definitely cover that as well. We have a 2-year residence guarantee. So if you apply by May 1st of 2022, I assume most of you here are looking to join us for fall 2022. If you apply by May 1st, then you have a 2-year guarantee, so you can stay on residence for a long time like I did. And now I'm going to get into kind of the academics and then move into the programs at the University of Calgary. So I just want to start by kind of explaining all the different opportunities you have with your academics on campus. And so if I haven't mentioned it before, we are a large research institution in Canada. So we're a top 5 research institution. So if you're a student who wants to have your research meaningful. You want to make sure that you have lots of opportunity to work with your professors and work on something personal, your personal projects, then this is definitely the university for you. We have so much funding for research at the University of Calgary, and so many different ways you can customize your degree towards your research. And one of the best ways to do that is with an embedded certificate. So these embedded certificates focus on a thematic area within your degree, and they are part of your degree at no extra cost. So again, it's just a great way to customize your degree. You can see some examples here of the different kind of themes that you can take with your your degree. So you can do Canadian studies, creative writing, sustainability studies, and there's so many more. But for research, you can take it in any direction. So you can always talk to your professor about your research ideas, and they're going to help you start a project, whether it's for all 4 years of your degree or one semester. You just have so much opportunity here at the University of Calgary. And now I'll get into programs. I won't be able to get into all of them today, so I'm going to highlight 4 and then I'm going to zone in on one specific program. But if you have any specific questions on programs, please feel free to ask Gary or Yana in the chat. They will be sure to answer your questions on them. So I'll start with going over our top 4 faculties at the University of Calgary. So first, we have our Haskayne School of Business. This is an amazing faculty with so many opportunities for co-ops. If you're a student who's interested in business or marketing or finance, this is definitely for you. Then we have our Schulich School of Engineering. There's so many different concentrations in engineering and so many different exciting minors. You can even take a mechanical engineering degree with a minor in aerospace engineering. So there's lots of different ways you can take it. You can even take software engineering if you're more interested in the tech side. We have Faculty of Kinesiology, and we are the #1 sports science school in North America. We've had students make cleats with Nike, and we've had students work on tailor-made golf clubs. So the practicum opportunities with amazing companies are endless. Lastly, for our top programs, we have our Faculty of Nursing. And this is where we have some of the best practicum hours for nursing in Canada and some of the best live simulation labs. So nurses go into their field feeling extremely comfortable and prepared to take on the world of medicine. But I will highlight one program in specific, and that would be computer science. I know a lot of international students are interested in the tech side and computer science. And so like I was saying earlier, Calgary is such a tech hub. It's just growing in Calgary, and there's so much opportunity for jobs to get a job with computer science in the tech sector in Calgary. We're a young city for tech, and so if you're looking in Canada, maybe you're going to be comparing us to Vancouver or Toronto, and those have long established communities of tech. And it's just a benefit that we are so young for tech in Calgary because the industry is booming, and it means if you do want to stay in Calgary after your computer science degree, you're going to find a job in tech. So that's really exciting. And I'm just going to get into applying. So to talk about early versus standard admission, our applications actually opened yesterday, so you can apply right now. Maybe some of you have already applied, which is exciting. But yeah, you can apply today, and applications close March 1st of 2022. We don't actually have a deadline for early admission. What we recommend is that if you apply pretty early, so generally by December 1st, we can use your grades from either, your grade 11, whether that's your junior year when you're in America, whether it's your predicted grades if you're using that system, just whatever curriculum that you're using your prior year to look at to get you a conditional offer of admission, of course, if you meet our requirements. If you apply later or don't get in based on these earlier grades, we can re-review you based on if there's room in the program for standard admission. The application fee is $145 for applicants with international credentials. We do have a new international application fee waiver this year, but I want to highlight that this is only for students in very specific circumstances. And so in these circumstances, you would have to have proof that you have your tuition and fees covered. And so usually this is by a governing body, and the government won't be able to pay your application fee. So it's not by things like scholarships or you have savings. So it's very specific circumstances where you can prove that you can have your tuition covered, but not your application fee. You're eligible to apply for 2 programs. And so we recommend that for your first choice, we give priority to your first choice, and you should always apply for the program that you prefer, and generally the program that is more competitive. So an example that I like to give is first choice business, and the grades for this, depending on your curriculum, are around the mid-80s, low to mid-80s. and then maybe put economics as your second choice. And so if we don't get you into your first choice, which the grades are higher, economics, the grades are lower. And so hopefully we can still get you into the University of Calgary in some degree or other. When should you apply? You should apply early because we do rolling admissions at the University of Calgary. And so this means that as soon as students start applying, we start admitting them if they have the required courses and grades, and then we keep admitting them until the programs are full. And so it's always just best to apply early. And getting into a little bit more admission information. So this is just general because again, we have so many different curriculums here and so many different countries and cities where students are taking their programs. But this is just in general. We need to see 5 specific grade 12 high school subjects, and we just look at grades. So at the University of Calgary, we don't take SATs or ACTs. We don't want to see any letters of recommendation. We don't want to see any statements of purpose. We don't factor in extracurriculars into our admission process. So it's really simple. To be the most competitive student, you just want to make sure that you have the right 5 courses in your senior year, your grade 12 year, or whether you're doing International Baccalaureate or AP or the GCE system or any other system. We would just want to see generally your higher level courses, 5 of them, and then you need to have the right grades. And so these grades depend on your program. Generally in the sciences and the STEM programs, the grades are going to be more competitive. And then if you're looking at things like in the arts, they're going to be less competitive, but it just depends on the program. Some programs have additional requirements. There's just a few. So Bachelor of Health Science is one where you need to see the 5 courses, the right grades, and then a supplementary essay. And this essay is pretty much just you explaining that you know how research intensive this program is. And then fine arts, dance and music, you audition. And then fine arts, visual studies, there's a portfolio. And all students must demonstrate English language proficiency. So this really varies by what curriculum you're taking and what country you're from. We have a list of lots of countries that are exempt from our English language requirements. And this pretty much means that some countries have been assessed to, we know that you are already learning in English and you don't need to see an English test. Some countries and some curriculums, though, we need to see different English language tests. So the common ones are IELTS. So we need a 6.5 overall on IELTS for most of our programs, not all, this is most, or the TOEFL, this is also a popular one. If you have any questions on the English language requirements, please ask them in the chat, and Gary and Yana will help you with your specific English language requirement needs. Okay, so I highlighted computer science as one of our programs, and I'm going to talk about that one right now. So the 5 required courses are going to be English, mathematics, then we need to see 2 sciences. So this could be biology, chemistry, or physics. We just need to see 2 of them, and then 1 other course. And this is one of our more competitive programs. And so it always depends on what grading system you're using, but generally this is one in the high 80s or a high GPA between 3.7 or a 4, or somewhere where you're taking mostly A's. And so really just when you're looking at your grading system, you just want to look at being, you know, a very high achieving student for a program like this. But again, they all vary between each program. And again, it varies for the grades between your curriculum. If you're missing a course, and sometimes international students find that maybe they're missing mathematics because their school doesn't have it in their 12th year, or maybe their curriculum doesn't have this in their stream, or maybe you don't have something like calculus for a specific program, there's options. So there's options where you can take an AP exam, but my favorite option is you can take an online high school course from a recognized curriculum. We have the option of our continuing education at the University of Calgary. So you can sign up to take a course with us. As well, if you have taken an SAT subject test in the past, we can accept this. SAT 2 tests are no longer available, so you can't take that as an option anymore, but if you've already taken this, we can accept it. And if this applies to you, if you think you're a student who is missing a course for your required courses for your program, I recommend reach out to us, reach out to your recruiter, because you do want to figure this out soon. We can't calculate your admission average before we get this course. So it really is in your best interest to complete this soon. Just some additional admission information here. We have our transcript deadlines. Like I said, please do everything early, but our initial document deadline is March 15th. So you have to have uploaded something by March 15th, whether that's your junior year grades, your grade 11 grades, your predicted grades, just get us something before March 15th. And August 1st is going to be your final exam deadline. And all curriculums have, different deadlines for when you can get us your final exams, so we can work with you around this date. It can be a little flexible, but for the most part, August 1st is going to be our deadline. Okay, so now I'm going to get into the admission requirements specifically for GCE students. So like I was saying before, we still need to see 5 faculty-specific courses. So for GCE or IGCSE students, applicants must present either 2 of the 5 required courses at the advanced level, with the remaining 3 courses at the ordinary level or AS advanced subsidiary level, or 4 of the 5 required courses could be at the advanced subsidiary level AS, with the remaining course at the ordinary O level. These are our minimum requirements for the GCE international students. So of course, when we say if you have 2 of the 5 at the advanced level, if you have more than 2 of the 5, then that's just perfect. These are our minimum combinations for GCE students. Something I always like to note is that ordinary math may be used to satisfy the mathematics course requirements, of course, and ordinary additional math may be used to satisfy calculus course requirements. GCE advanced or AS mathematics may be used to satisfy both the calculus and mathematics requirements. So if you're thinking of taking GCE advanced or AS mathematics, it might be a good idea depending on your program because it can cover 2 courses that you'll need. Like many students, if your studies are in progress, the initial evaluation will be based on your school predicted grades. So we can get either your predicted grades or your mock examinations on your AS or A-level courses to get you on evaluation. And then we'll get your exam board issue results for your O levels, since you've already completed them. Once you finish, of course, you'll need to have your final exams directly from the exam board. And competitive GCE scores will vary from program to program, but most competitive subjects, most competitive averages are in the B to A range for your O-level and A-level subjects. And if you are doing the 9-point system, the more higher range would be the 7 to 9, but of course it ranges and depends between programs. So if you have any questions, you can always check online or take a look at our course requirements to find the exact grade that you'll need. Okay, so I'm going to switch gears. I'm going to finish with the application process and then I'll switch gears quickly into scholarships because I do want to leave time for questions. But I'm going to talk about the first 3 points here. So for the application process, to start, this is probably where most of you are at. You're going to be researching your different program and program requirements. You're going to figure out what you need to apply to your program. Step 2 is to pay the application fee and apply. So like I said, applications opened yesterday, so you can start applying right now. I hope some of you have. And then the next step is to upload documents. I'm curious if you can say in the chat if you've applied yet. You don't have to if you don't want to, but I'm curious to see who has already applied. But now I'm going to get into scholarships and awards and fees. So there's lots of scholarships for students like you at the University of Calgary. We have over 17 million in scholarships, bursaries, and awards for international students. There's a few different categories of awards that we have. For the most part, they're application-based. But like I said, there's lots of money, and this is a great way to fund your degree. So the first category is our automatic admission awards. For international students, there's a couple that you can be qualified for here. So first is our President's Admission Scholarship. This is where if you apply to the University of Calgary, you're automatically considered for these awards just by submitting your application. So for Presidents, if you apply and your grades are at a 95% or higher with your admitting, your application average, you can automatically get $5,000 Canadian for joining us. We also have our IB International Baccalaureate Diploma Scholarships. This is only for students doing the IB diploma. If you have your entering score of 35 or higher on the diploma, you can get $2,000. Like I said, though, most of our awards are in the application category. So the first category is prestige. These are our high dollar value awards. I really want to highlight that you have to apply for these early. So as soon as you apply for your program, you can apply for scholarships all on your student center. And so today you can start filling out this scholarship category. and you have to complete it by December 1st. So you have to submit it all by December 1st. So you just have just under 2 months. So make sure you get that done soon. And why I say to start this early is because for this category, you have to write some essays. So it takes a little longer, but you can see the payout is worth it. We have our UCalgary International Entrance Scholarship, where it's $20,000 renewable over 4 years. You can win up to $80,000 in this category. We also have our regular admission high school entrance awards. So this is really where we have most of our awards. This is where we ask you everything. So unlike program admissions, here is where we want to look at everything else. So we want to see your extracurriculars. We want to see, your extra academic abilities, volunteering, basically everything. And we're going to review it all and apply you to the awards that you're eligible for. So this one is one application, you answer everything, and then we're gonna see what awards you can get. And there's a great range of dollar value here. So it's a great opportunity as well because awards are stackable, so you can get more than one. And I'll just finish up here with our fees. So for international students, I just wanna start by explaining tuition is just based on courses. So most students in Canada, we take 5 courses a semester, and that's 2 semesters a year to be 10 courses. And on average for tuition at the University of Calgary, we're about $25,000 Canadian per program. Each program is different. So it ranges from about $23,000 Canadian all the way up to $30,000 Canadian, and that's for a Schulich School of Engineering. So it really ranges. And then once you add on everything, your books and supplies, living expenses, your dorm, and your meal plan, students can expect to pay around $34,000 Canadian to $49,000 Canadian in a year. And my recommendation, if this sounds like a lot, it's definitely doable. We're one of the most affordable research institutions in Canada. I recommend you talk to your parents, you talk to your counselors, and just remember all the ways you can fund your degree, whether it's through working on campus or off campus, co-ops and internships, scholarships, and more. I'll just wrap up with the 5 reasons to choose the University of Calgary. So number 1 is the excellence in academics, 2, research opportunities, 3, a caring community, 4, the opportunity to earn while you learn, and 5, an adventurous lifestyle. So thank you for joining me. There's about 10 minutes left for questions. I know I'm seeing that there's quite a few questions in the chat. So we're going to stick around for however long you have questions for the next 10 minutes. And thank you for joining. I hope you had a great day at Open House. There's always ways to get in touch. So like I said, we have our international recruitment team for every region. You can send them an email, a WhatsApp. You can book an individual appointment with them. And so it's really easy to stay in touch. And I hope you had a good time at the Open House today. And thank you again. I'll just scroll through the questions to see if there's any that got missed. For one point in the chat, they said winter 2023. We don't have admissions for any other semester other than fall for most of our undergraduate programs. The only programs, like I'm pretty sure you're applying to, is nursing. Yes, so transfer nursing is for the winter. So hopefully we'll see you winter 2023. And thanks for showing up for the familiar faces. I definitely see you here. There's a question, will my senior grades have a heavier impact than my junior year grades? So I assume that you're an American curriculum student. And so when we look at American curriculum students, we can take your senior year grades, your junior year grades, your AP grades, and your honors grades. What impact they'll have is just dependent on what program that you apply to. And because of course, there's 5 specific courses that we look at for admission. So we'll take the, say you took biology in your junior year, maybe you took it both in your junior year and your senior year, we will take the course with the higher grade. But for the most part, we're just looking at the course grades for the 5 specific courses. And rolling admission, exactly, the earlier that you apply is the earlier that you will find out you were accepted. For international students, once you apply, you have to upload your documents. And then from the point that we receive all of your documents, it takes about 6 to 8 weeks for international students to hear back for an admission decision. And so generally students who are applying today, they can hear back around early to mid-November, you know, if you get us your documents right away. So some universities, they like to wait and do all of their university applications in one batch, but yeah, rolling admissions, we do them as they come in. Okay, so there's a question. I'm an international student attending high school in Canada for 2 years. When I apply, am I a Canadian student? So good question. I want to highlight the difference between domestic students and international students. So the only way that you can be a domestic student is if you have Canadian citizenship or Canadian permanent residency. This is the only way, and really what changes is that you pay domestic fees. If you've been studying in high school in Canada for 2 years, we'll still likely need to see your 10th grade exam or, you know, transcripts, which it sounds like they're probably from an international school. And so in your case, it sounds like you're still an international student, you pay the international fees, and we'll still need to have you pay the international application fee because if you have any international documents, we'll have to pay for that to assess them by our international team. And thank you. If you don't have any questions, you can feel free to enjoy the rest of your day. Open house is over. So yeah, thank you. There's a question. What documents would we need for international students, and are they documents we can start gathering before admission? Yes. So in general, for international students, we need just to see your transcripts from whatever institution you've attended. So we need to see high school, and if you're a transfer student, you know, if you've attended any post-secondary, we need to see your post-secondary transcripts. So if you've gone to a technical school, a college, a university, you've taken a diploma, anything like that, we'll need to see the transcripts for that. But of course, it is also dependent on each student. So once you apply to the University of Calgary, our admissions team will let you know exactly what they need from you, but you can start prepping your transcripts. And then I check, I know you're in the United States, and so you're going to be okay for English language proficiency. But if anyone else doesn't think they have English language proficiency, then they should start researching to see if they need to take an English test, because that will also be required. And thank you. We'll wait maybe a minute or two to see if there's any more questions here today. I have a question that said you have 88 questions to send me a private email. I had a student the other day send me 88 questions, but you have a different name. Yes, you can send me the email of 88 questions. I will probably give you a more holistic answer than 88 bullet points, but you can definitely send me an email. It depends on where you're from. Are you from the United States or India? Because I'll be there for United States and India students, but I'll direct you to your recruiter if you're from anywhere else. But 88 questions is a lot, but I'll definitely take a look at the email. So there's a 2-year guarantee for housing. This means that if you apply, so for your admission year, if you're applying for fall 2022, the example would be you have to apply for residence by May 1st of 2022. And that means if you apply for residence by this deadline, then you can live in residence for 2 years guaranteed. So no matter what, you're going to have a spot in residence. The first year you'll have to apply, of course, by May 1st, and then the next year you'll have to apply by May 1st again to secure that 2 years. But no matter what, if you want a spot on residence, if you apply by May 1st, you'll have that spot. We just have a couple minutes left if there's any more questions. Oh, okay. It says, I'm expecting 88 separate sentences. I send this to all recruiters. I'm from Vietnam. So that's something good to highlight. Definitely only send this email to your recruiter. And so for Vietnam, you're going to be sending your email to southeastasia.recruiter@ucalgary.ca. I'm going to email you the email, but definitely if you send them to all recruiters, it just kind of slows us down a little bit because we have to sort through many more emails. So please only send it to the email that I just sent you. And I will let her know that 88 questions are coming. And I'm pretty sure I know what the questions are because I also received this email from another student, and she may not get you 88 separate sentences, but she will definitely get you an email reply. And thank you, everyone. I'll probably end here. And thank you so much for joining today. This was a great presentation, and it was great feedback from all of you and great questions. Enjoy the rest of your day and Saturday. And yeah, thank you.